Good day, good people. My name is Kabusekwele and I am an online math tutor here to help young children turn their struggles into their successes. As you probably already know, there are a ton of math tricks that have gone viral on TikTok. I love math shortcuts and tricks because they come in handy a lot of the time, but I hate teaching math tricks and math shortcuts to young kids, especially those that aren't skilled in math. Because a mistake that many young people make is using these math tricks without understanding them or understanding the theory behind these tricks. So today, I'm going to be explaining some of the most viral math tricks on TikTok. I'll basically be sharing the theory behind the practical stuff that TikTok has to offer. And please be sure to comment down below any math tricks that you want me to explain. It doesn't have to be TikTok, it can be an Instagram reel, it can be a YouTube video, just any video that has a math trick, and I'll be happy to explain those to you as well. So the first video we will be looking at is from Pink Pencil Math.
Crazy math tricks that you need to know, part 1. If you want to divide a number by 5, but it's not the friendliest number to work with, all you need is 2 steps. So first, double your number, so 1 becomes 2, 4 becomes 8, 3 becomes 6, and 7 becomes 14. And now go all the way to the right, draw on a decimal point, and move it once over to the left. So your answer is 1468.2. Easy, isn't it?
So I'm going to use a different example to help you understand what she did. According to this math trick, all you need to do is double each digit in the number 20. And once you've gotten that answer, you need to move the decimal point once to the left. That will give us 4 as our answer. Okay, so now let's discuss both these steps in detail. The first step is doubling each digit in the number. That simply means each digit in the number needs to be multiplied by 2. That will give us 40 as our answer. That step is pretty straightforward. There's nothing really complicated about that. But what makes this trick interesting is the next step. In the second step, we are told to move the decimal point once to the left. Now, mathematically, that can only happen if we divide a number by 10. So even though on screen you see the decimal point being moved once to the left, what you're actually doing is dividing the entire number by 10. As you can see on your screen, that is depicted as a fraction with 10 as your denominator. If you look very carefully at the sum on your screen, the steps you took actually created a fraction with 2 as a numerator and 10 as a denominator. The value of this fraction is 1 over 5. In other words, we multiplied 20 by 1 over 5, which is exactly the same as dividing 20 by 5. So when using this math trick, all you're really doing is taking the number 5 and expanding it. We took 5 and we turned it into a fraction of 2 over 10, and then divided the number by that fraction. We did all that because multiplying a number by 2 and then dividing it by 10 is actually easier than dividing it by 5 directly. I think it's a brilliant way of making math easier for yourself, and it's something I've said in my other videos. If a sum looks complicated, your first step should be to change the way it looks, to simplify it. Make it look simpler so your next step is clear. But even as you try and change the way it looks to simplify it, don't change the value of the sum itself. The value must stay the same, but you can make it look simpler or more familiar so it's easier to solve. Okay, now let's move on to the next math trick. So to explain this math trick to you, let's use 2 over 3 over 4 as our example. Now, although this sum may look as though you have a fraction in a fraction, all you really have is a fraction being divided by a whole number. So in our example, 2 over 3 over 4 should actually be 2 over 3 divided by 4. Now, according to the math trick, to solve this problem, the value of the numerator is going to be 2, and the value of the denominator is going to be 3 multiplied by 4, which is 12. So the steps in this trick are quite simple and easy to follow, but now what's the theory behind it? So as you would expect, there is a longer method that is used to divide fractions by whole numbers. What's interesting is that this math trick is actually just a much shortened version of that method. So I'm going to start off by showing you the longer method, and then I'm going to show you which parts of that math trick were taken to create the math trick. So typically the first step of the normal method or the longer method is to make the sum look more familiar. So our example is 2 over 3 over 4. And our first step would be to turn that into 2 over 3 divided by 4. Because as we've already discussed, the sum is actually just a fraction being divided by a whole number. So our first step would be to turn it into that. Now here we face a bit of a challenge. Many young people struggle with dividing fractions. So an easier and more efficient way of getting the exact same answer would be to turn the sum 2 over 3 divided by 4 into 2 over 3 multiplied by 1 over 4. Many students find multiplying a fraction much easier than dividing a fraction. But making a change in the sign actually changed the value of the final answer. And that's not a good thing, because 2 over 3 multiplied by 4 is not the same as 2 over 3 divided by 4. So we need to find a way to balance that change so that the value of the final answer does not change, which is why we change the 4 into 1 over 4. This then balances the sum out, because 2 over 3 divided by 4 gives you the same answer as 2 over 3 multiplied by 1 over 4. So the sum we are now working with is 2 over 3 multiplied by 1 over 4. Now all that's left is to multiply these two fractions together. To multiply these two fractions together, all you need to do is multiply the numerator with the numerator, as well as the denominator with the denominator. So for example, 2 multiplied by 1 will give you 2 as an answer, and 3 multiplied by 4 will give you 12 as an answer, thus making your answer 2 over 12. You can of course go a step further by simplifying the fraction. So now let's see which parts of the longer method were taken to make the math trick. If you paid attention, you would see that the math trick simply took the final step in the longer method. In the math trick, we took the numerator of the fraction in the sum and use that as the numerator of our final answer. We did that because in the longer method, we multiplied the numerators of the fractions together, that being 2 multiplied by 1. Now, as you should already know, anything multiplied by 1 gives you the same value, which is why in the math trick, you simply just copy and paste the numerator. Also, in the math trick, we multiplied 3 by 4, and we did this because in the long method, we ended up multiplying the denominators to get our final answer. So with 2 as our numerator and 12 as our denominator, we then had our final answer. So those are the math tricks that we will be discussing today. Thank you very, very much for watching. Just remember that the key to understanding most of these math tricks and these math shortcuts is by remembering the people that are skilled in math and the people that come up with these math tricks don't just think of random steps to put in these math tricks and somehow come up with the correct answer. There's actually a reason and a principle behind each step. So if you want to understand math tricks and math shortcuts better, try and figure out the reasons behind those steps. You can also comment down below which math trick you want me to explain, and I'll be more than happy to do so. If you're interested in getting additional math help, please go to my website and schedule a free consultation with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you improve your understanding of math. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.